All right. Good morning. We're gonna wait here a couple minutes to get folks to join us here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. In the meantime, buenos dias, Paula. In the meantime, I do have the risk disclosure up. You can take a look at that, um, and we'll get started here 5 past. Okay, we'll give folks here a chance to join us here. Thank you for the like, Paula. And thank you again for the comments in the videos. That's also very helpful. So we'll get started here in a couple minutes, guys. Buenos dias. Stumps. Okay. We'll get started here in a couple of minutes, guys. I do have the risk disclosure up, so you can review that. In the meantime, I'm going to kind of review it here briefly before we get started. But all right, we got a minute left here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here, guys. Like I mentioned, I do have the risk disclosure up. And again, I just want to communicate to everyone here that I'm here strictly as in an educational capacity. I'm not here to provide you investment advice, solicit you to offer, to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, instrument, or fund. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk, and that we should be only using risk capital to engage in it. Okay, risk capital is basically money that we can otherwise we can lose without compromising our financial security or lifestyle. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and then past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so now that we've gotten the risk disclosure out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at what news has in store for us today and see if there's anything that we should be aware of. So we have jobless claims that have been reported. The good news is the jobless claims came in under forecast, so that should have, assuming that will have a potentially positive impact on the market. Continued jobless claims did not meet forecast. It actually remains above the forecasted amount. We have wholesale inventories coming in. We have 30-year bonds coming in at what's it? Wholesale inventories coming in at 10 a.m. We also have the option expiration that we should have already kind of on our checklist of items. Okay. And then we have the bonds, okay, coming in at 1. And then we have a Fed black screen. That's odd. Okay. Well, in any case, we're going to be moving on to the charts here. So not much in the way of news. I think it's probably a little bit light. Like I said, the only thing that we should be aware of is, the two items that I mentioned. We have the wholesale number coming in at 10 a.m. We have the bond yield coming in at 1 p.m. So that neither of those may impact us much here. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the charts. So I'm going to go ahead and load the charts here, and we're going to go ahead and start with this chart right here. Actually, maybe this one. Yeah. All right, and we're going to go ahead and start with our normal market. Okay, normal market is the see what to make sure. Oops. All right, start with our normal market, and that normal market is a review of the gold market. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and load the gold market up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and focus my attention on the screen on the left. Looks like we are rallying. Okay, a bit here, maybe as a result of some of the news event, jobless claims. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove all the drawings, and I'm going to remove the indicators for now. Okay, and what I'm going to be focusing on is, just at a high level, what is the general direction of the market? Okay, so let's see. To make sure I have my spreadsheet. Okay, let's make sure I have this here on the left. All right, so let's move this to the daily. All right, and again, we're just gonna at a high level. Okay, what are we trying? What is the market trying to accomplish here? Okay, let's go ahead and open up the GC. I think we're in the Z contract 2024. Okay. All right. So looking at the daily chart, again, we seem to continue to be in this kind of consolidation range. Okay. We seem to be in that same range we've been talking about at, between 25.40 and then down to 23.54. But I could see that we maybe have created a little bit of a demand around 2400. Okay. I am on the GC. I'm on GC now. I know I started out with ES. Apologies. Okay. So we are in a bit of, I would say, consolidation. Okay, I would say that maybe we are very much in range. Okay, you could argue that maybe given some of this particular candle, maybe this is going to be an up day. Okay, but we don't know exactly how this is going to finish. Okay, or close for the day. All right. But otherwise, to me, this just looks like a very rangy kind of market. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the 4R, see if the 4R gives us any further clarity. Okay. So we've come into some levels here that, we've been, bearish. Okay. Of late. All right. Bearish of late. And now we're starting to show some signs that this 2400 level is a level of interest here. Okay. Now, I think I may have mentioned this before. I always look for some sort of break in structure, right? So I could see that we broken some structure here, even just using the trend line, right? We've broken some structure here to the upside, regardless of how you draw this trend line. We've broken some structure to the upside. Now the question is it going to close? Okay. And then the other thing that I'm going to be looking at, and this is going to give us a little bit of a momentum here, is if we can get above, say, 24, I'm going to call it 2450. If we can get above 2450 or 2455, then that should give us a little bit of momentum to the upside in the gold market. Okay. Right now we have a double bottom. You can see a W pattern that's been established here. Okay. Really the only thing, at least on the 4-hour, to really turn bullish for me is to get above 2450, 2452, 2455. And then we're off up to some of the new highs here, 2480, maybe as high as even 2500. Okay. Not saying that that's necessarily going to is in the cards for today, but it will create the runway for that potential for that to happen. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Again, we're trying to get a feel for what the market is trying to do here. Okay, so we are well past settlement here. Okay, we're well past VWAP. We had a nice reaction away from settlement price. Okay, in the overnight trade. Okay, we have a developing bearish candle. We'll go ahead and open up initial balance. Okay, so that's the initial balance range. Right now, it seems to be relatively in the, I guess, the same size as prior. Right, nothing to be too alarmed about. Okay, and I think, as I mentioned before, the narrower that we have the range, the more likely that this range will be broken in one of the directions, either above or below. The more narrow the range, the more likely we are going to get an extension of some sort, one way or the other. The wider the range, the less likely that could happen, and that we could remain in the initial balance range. Okay, so like usual, I'm always looking for pivots to support my anchors, my anchor VWAP. So in this particular case, I'm going to take the lows here, all right, and I'm going to draw an anchor VWAP probably just from this location here, all right, and it basically superimposed, all right. So basically, this anchor basically provided me the same because that's the open of the market, right? Notice. So the anchor VWAP and the daily VWAP basically are offering me the same view, okay? Because I'm starting it at that same place. I don't think if I move this over here, we'll go ahead and move it, but I don't think it's going to give us any new insight here. Well, maybe a little, okay. Nonetheless, it's well above the anchored VWAP. I would be paying particular attention to this level right here. Okay, this 20. Let's call it 2440. Okay, this 2440 level is going to be a particular interest to me because that's the last area of resistance before it made this move higher. Okay, so it's for me, it would be quite reasonable for the market to come back to this level and rally from it. Okay, come back to this level and rally from it. All right. So let's go ahead and open up our volume profile. Okay, so volume profile, if I can locate it. All right. So again, as we all know, that we always start with the 830 candle. Again, don't look at my labels because I'm dealing with the Pacific time zone, so I'm 3 hours ahead of you. So I start with the 830 candle and drag it to the 430 candle. Okay, that defines my volume profile. Okay, for this session. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and extend these lines. All right, so just so I have a reference. So if I ever need to get rid of the volume profile, I can, and my levels are not lost. Okay, my levels are not lost. All right, so I draw my value area high and value area low in blue, and my point of control in red. Okay, that's just my color convention. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and locate. I'm going to locate my levels here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and add them to the chart here somewhere. Okay, so we're going to put those over here. Hopefully those are relatively visible. Can you guys see that okay? Do I need to expand that any way? Is that a reasonable size, guys? Okay, I'll take that. I'll take a not. Okay, perfect. All right. So yeah, okay, perfect. So we're gonna double check on a couple of numbers here. I'm gonna add the ADR here. So we have ADR coming in at what is that? Oh, it's gonna get adjusted on me here a little bit. This is 2444.8. Okay, so we're going to change that. $24.44.80. Okay. And then average daily range low is well below here at, basically 2400.8. Okay. Average daily range low. Yeah. So that's within tolerances. The next one I'm going to pull up here is, and I want to make sure that it's in the New York session. So I was kind of playing around with other sessions. New York. Okay, this is the average session range for New York. So we have 2454.6. Okay, so that's our average session range. Oops, I messed this up. So we have 2456, 2454. I had it right before. So okay, this is our average session range. Okay, 2454.6. And then the average session range low is 2427. Okay. So we are already reacting away from the average session range high. Okay. Right. We have an initial balance range. Like I said, I generally do not participate in the first hour of trade. So I'm just going to let that play out. Okay. And then once it plays out, then I will focus my attention on it a bit. Okay. All right. So what to make of this market? Well, we have value. We see that price is above value, right? So that tells us that the bulls are in control of this market. If the bulls are to remain in control, I would not want to see price get inside value from Friday, from yesterday. Okay. If the bulls are going to remain in control, I would not want to see price get back inside value from yesterday. Okay. Buenos dias, Frank. Okay. So that's one scenario. Value area high, providing me a location for reversal in price. Okay. Point of control could also be an area where I can see a reversal in price. Not only is it point of control, I also see that it's a value, VWAP. Okay. So these areas right here, to me, okay, and it's also a prior level resistance. So there's a lot of confluence here at this 2440 level. Okay, to offer me an opportunity for a continuation move to the upside. Okay, Alejandro, they're all relatively important to me. It's more important to me is how they react away from them. Now, if you said, okay, well, like you can only use one, I would probably say initial balance. Okay. Because initial balance is giving me some indication on the participant intent. Okay. So initial balance is something that I look at and I pay quite a bit of attention to. And then closely behind that, I would say the ASR and the ADR levels, okay, are probably the ones that I look at next. I don't pay too much attention to point of control. I'm going to be honest with you. Anchor VWAP also offers opportunities, but sometimes I find that that's in the middle of the market or the middle of the swing. And we all understand what we're being told about the middles of swings, right? Don't, as my coach used to say, don't diddle in the middle. Okay. So that's the only thing about that. But as you can see, Anchor VWAP also offers. So the levels, Alejandro, the levels that I provide on the chart, if we get the right reaction away, price action, all offer good opportunities. Okay. But I would say that initial balance, if I had to choose, initial balance would be my number one. Okay. All right. So we talked about some bullish scenarios, some bearish scenarios. Well, we're probably in the midst of one right now. Okay, we're up against ASR. We've gotten a reversal. The problem is that I see is well, how long can this move go before the buyer step in? Right. Well, you see, if we decided to take a short trade, right, Well, we have value area high right there, right? So we would end up risking more, okay, on this trade than we could potentially make conservatively, okay? So for me, a bearish trade, I would need to see some, some breaks of structure here. I would need to get below VWAP, okay, before I would start to pay attention. Maybe even as low below ASR low, okay, before I would really turn my attention to some bearish opportunities here, okay. So right now, like I said, we can certainly get some bearish action that takes us, down to value area high, maybe as low as point of control. But once I get close to these anchored VWAPs, I have to respect the fact of the possibility of a move back higher. Okay, is there a trade if we target point of control? Absolutely, right? This is probably a 2-to-1 trade here at the moment, right? Okay. But I am working against a little bit of structure here, right? Structure is still technically to the upside, right? This candle has broken potentially the channel, but has not closed, right? I'm looking at a 30-minute candle. We're probably another 6 minutes away from this candle closing. All right. So that's kind of my view of the gold market. Like I said, I'm probably going to be patient and wait for initial balance to kind of tell me what direction they want to take this market. Okay. It could very well be to the downside. All right. Or it could be one of these things where we get a break, kind of like a failed auction down to one of these levels and have price kind of reverse away from it. Okay. So there's, obviously failed auction opportunity. Okay. In the gold market. All right. Just checking to see if there's any questions. I'm not seeing them. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Okay, I'm going to bring up the crude oil market. All right, bring up the daily. All right, and we're going to go ahead just like we do again with the other markets. We always start with the daily for context. Okay, I'm going to remove all the drawings here. Okay. All right, so you can see that this is a 1-minute chart. I don't look at that all too often unless I'm very close to a trade. Okay. All right. So looking at this here, we're going to go ahead and turn off ASR because it doesn't work very well on a daily. Okay. So what is the market trying to accomplish here? Well, based on what we see in the market, we are very much in bearish structure, right? Depending on how you draw this, right? If you include this, I always like to get as many touches as I can. Okay, so this is kind of my initial attempt at this. I like the fact that I'm getting touches on this on the bottom, on the bodies. Not so happy about this top part. I feel if I go out here, this is like a lone candle outside of this area, but that seems like the logical channel here, right? So on the daily side, we can see that we're very much in a bearish channel. Even though we have a follow through candle, I guess we got a very nice bullish engulfing candle that wiped out some sellers here, and now we have potentially a continuation candle that's going to lead us higher. Now we haven't really broken any structure here. I'd like to see price get above 78.50. Okay, before I would say that we've kind of moved from bearish to bullish, right? Because I have this structure here that's still, kind of keeping the bulls at bay, right? If we do break this above, then yes, my opinion on crude oil could change to more bullish. Okay, and that's probably going to be a little sad for me because that means could translate into me paying more at the pump. All right, so let's look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a second. All right, so we are below our EMA, which tells us that we are still technically bearish in this market. Look how nicely price came up to this EMA and reversed away from it. Okay, so the fact that we're below it, again, still tells us that we're still in bearish, kind of mode here. Once we start to get above some of these, like this EMA, for example, above this channel, then maybe our opinion will change from bearish to bullish, but we still are seeing lower lows and lower highs, some higher highs and higher lows of late though. Okay. So if we look at this, but I feel like that's maybe still that we still are very much in control of this swing below. We'll see. We'll see how the market plays out. Okay. But technically right now we are still in bearish structure. All right. So 30-minute chart. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this channel here. Okay. Because I'm probably going to draw a different one potentially. Okay. So let's do that. All right. So let's open this up here a little bit. Let's open up our fixed range volume profile. Let's locate the 9 a.m. bar, drag that across to the 4:30 bar. Okay, so there's our range, our volume profile. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extend these lines. I'm going to go ahead and extend these lines because if I decide that I want to remove volume profile, I have the levels that I care about, right? So I have my value area high, my value area low, and my point of control. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to change the color of these, right? I mentioned to you before that I like my value ranges to be in blue, and I like point of control to remain red, and then my value area low to also be in blue. All right. So when I speak value, blue, right? So initial balance, value area, blue. All right. So that's kind of how it kind of keeps me consistent because it offers me opportunities and to participate in potential value area plays. All right. So let's go ahead and copy and paste the levels here. We'll put these up here on the right. Okay. That's not it. That is it. Okay. Let's move. See if we can move these. Okay. This could be nice. All right. All right. Okay, so those are our levels. All right. So let's go ahead and open up our initial balance because that has already opened here. Okay, so this is I had to, in order to move this, I had to get rid of our value area here. So right now, price is inside value. Okay, price has opened inside value. So the fact that we're open inside value is telling me that the market could be very well in line with keeping price at where it's at. Okay. Right. We're in value. There's really not, there's basically bulls and bears. There's no bullies. Okay. It's basically in balance. Okay. So I'm gonna see, okay, what the initial balance range provides me. But if I get some sort of initiative price action in one way or the other, then that would give me some evidence as to what direction they want to take the market. But for right now, it's not really telling me much of anything. It's just telling me that they've accepted whatever range that we're in right now. Okay. And that they're comfortable where the prices are. There's nobody upset. Nobody trying to drive price one way or the other. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up our ADR levels. So you see, we're kind of in the middle of the range, right? We're nowhere close to ADR high, and also ADR low. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and open up ASR. And I want to make sure that that says New York. It does. Okay. So I may need to adjust these levels because my levels were initially created. So we have 76, 48. Okay. So we have 76, 48. As average session high, and then average session low is 74, 77. Okay, 74, 77 is my average session range low. Okay. And then ADRs, I believe, are correct. 76, 72, yes. And what is this? 74, 20. Okay. All right. Looks like everything else is in order. Just going to check my settlement price. That's 75.23. That looks good. And then we have point of control just below that at 75.15. Okay. All right. So that looks good to me. So for me, I would say that we need to be, I guess, a little bit patient with the crude oil market today. We've come into a prior ASR range that's kind of reacting away from it a little bit, but we're inside value. Okay, so I'm going to see what direction the market participants are going to be able to take this market, and see if at that point it gives me some guidance as to the direction that they want to take the market. All right. So until then, basically, I'm going to be sitting on my hands. I'm going to be looking at other markets, but I'm not seeing anything really definitive, hypo wise, right? So I mean, if the market manages to get below down to this 74.77 level, 74.80, that would offer me a nice location for a possible long. Okay. Right now, since this is ranging, I have to kind of think maybe that this might be more of a bearish opportunity. Okay. For me to take price back down to that range. But for me, range price action is always difficult because you get this kind of action going on, right? A lot of overlapping candles, not picking any sort of direction. I don't like to be part of this. I don't like to be in part of this kind of price action. So that's why I wait for initial balance, because to move something away from the initial balance area requires some work. Yeah. So right now we don't have ASR in Top Step X. I know it's been requested. I don't know exactly where that is on the priority list, but I don't believe they have ASR or ADR. Okay. So I don't think it has either. All right. So and I really don't know, Alejandro, exactly what the time frame is on when they will get those developed, but I believe it's been requested. All right. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for the crude oil market. Again, guys, I really don't have a really strong feel direction-wise at where this market can go. It feels like it's in range, and for me, range price action is not the best. I mean, I guess you could make a case that since we're reacting off of ASR high, that it could provide us a little bit of an opportunity to the downside. But again, that's not really the fact that we're inside value. It's really not my kind of trade here. Okay, so I'm going to wait for this initial balance range to develop, and then but from there decide on exactly what direction I'm going to participate in this market. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and move on to the equities. All right. So we're going to go ahead and look at the market in general here, and we can see that there's been a little bit of a rally that took place here in the Nasdaq. I guess I'm assuming as a result of the jobless claims and the things of that nature. So we're starting to hit some of our levels to the upside, okay, which could indicate that we have further upside to go. All right. So let's go ahead and open up the daily chart. Let's remove all our drawings. Okay. We're going to head and move up to the daily chart and see what the market is, what the market is telling us. Okay, well, we've been down. Okay, we've only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, and it really only 2 candles of significance on the bullish side. Okay, the strength is definitely on the bears. All right, now some buyers definitely stepped in at 17,200. Okay, a double bottom. Okay, on what time frame? 4 hour, 30 minute. Okay, I could see that there's a little bit of a double bottom here, right? So we have 17,425. Okay, so obviously, definitely. Okay, we'll take a look at that. So you could see here, there's definitely there's definitely demand here. Okay, at this. Let's see if I can get my rectangle. Okay, you can see that we've gotten some demand here, right? This is kind of high. Withdraw it. Okay. Definitely some demand here at 17,400. Okay, so maybe as high as 17,600. All right, so definitely some demand there. Okay, but we are still very much in bearish structure. Even though we're in demand, we're still in bearish structure. Okay, so looking at the 4-hour chart, okay, we're starting to see that the bears, aren't able to make a new low here. Okay, so if I had my anchored VWAP, my anchor VWAP is going to be at that pivot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to do my anchored VWAP right at the pivot. Okay, and if I can get price to stay above this anchored VWAP, then my view of the market is going to be a little bit more bullish. Now, I need to get above 18,548 on this chart for me to really embrace the bulls. All right, there's a lot of sellers in this market potentially. Maybe they close out the positions. I'm not sure. Okay, but if this is really going to be turning bullish, I need it to break structure. I need it to make a new high. It has not made a new high. Okay, it's made a new high on the candle basis, but not from a structure basis. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. All right, 30-minute chart. So here we are. We had a little double bottom here. Okay, I don't know if that's what DX is alluding to. Okay, but since it made that double bottom, it hasn't really been able to get inside that range. Okay, right? I'm almost inclined to extend this wider here. Okay, to include some of that. Okay, let's see if this doesn't allow me. I'm probably better off or just drawing a new one. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm seeing. All right, this is kind of the demand area, right? As high as 17,800. All right, and as low as 17,350. So this area right here is a buy zone. All right, this area right here is a buy zone because price has not closed in it in the recent past. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our fixed range volume profile. Okay, so we'll take a look at this and we'll open up the 930 bar. Okay, and drag that to the 430 bar. So price is below value, but we are creeping inside of it. All right, so this could easily rally all the way up to value area high. Okay, because price has closed inside value. I really don't see anything in its way. So it's not quite possible that we could get a rally all the way up to point of control. Okay, we are coming off settlement price, so that's the that's the immediate thing that I see. Okay, in this market, right? We've already closed inside value, so we have a possibility of rotating through the entire range of value. Okay, I don't see anything in its path to keep that from happening. All right, so let's capture our levels here. Okay, so we have our value area high. Okay, all right, we got value area high here. We got value area low. Okay, and let's go ahead and open up our ADR. Okay, we're already at ADR. All right, and we're at ADR even before the market opened. We have ASR. I'm just going to make sure here that this is Asia. Let's move that to New York. That might not be accurate just yet. Yeah, this is going to readjust here. So let me capture the ASR for the London session just to give us some visibility here. But this potentially is going to change on us here. Okay, so we have we're at a pretty strong resistance, right? You can see that neither ADR nor ASR has really caused price to reverse, right? It's almost ignoring it. Okay, so let's double check these levels. We have here is ASR high here at 18,117. So I'm going to go ahead and modify that 18,117. That's ASR high. Okay, so that's 117. And like I said, guys, this could adjust on us again once the market opens. Okay. So this is technically um a London range. All right. London ASR. Okay. So we have average session range high, and then low is 17,710. 17,710. Okay. So this is a little bit higher. Okay. So 17,710 is our average range low. Okay. I'm going to make a note of that on my changed the wrong thing. Yeah, so I changed the daily range when I meant to change the session range. So this is 710, okay? And then the daily range is down below here at five, let's call it 599.25. 599.25. Okay. All right. So okay, so I think I've confirmed everything. Let's see. Average daily range high, that's 18,000 131.50. Wow, okay. So this is 131.50. Come on. Okay, 131.50 is average daily range high. Okay. And average daily range low, I think we've captured. Session range we've captured, so I think we're good. All right. So again, right now, right this moment, I would say that we have the potential of a value area acceptance trade or opportunity in the Nasdaq. Okay. If we get above average daily range and average session range, then I see that we have a reasonable chance of getting back up to point of control and maybe all the way through value. Okay. Would you look for trade location and a confirmation for bullish previous day point of call? Is that resistance? Okay. Eva from the top. I might be more inclined to do it from the bottom, but yeah, you could certainly do an anchor VWAP from the top because we've been in this kind of bearish kind of structure, so we could do an anchor VWAP here off of the tops. Okay, so it's up at anchor VWAP right now, Frizu. Okay, so again, that could offer us an opportunity to the short side, right? But if we do get above anchor VWAP and get above some of these levels with some momentum, then yeah, I don't see any reason why we couldn't reach the tops. Okay. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on the NASDAQ, guys. Right. I do agree, DX, that we are in an area of resistance. We have, the anchor VWAP from this prior swing. That could also offer some resistance, but I'm not seeing the price action respecting this at the moment. Okay. The price action is not indicating that is looking to reverse. Move it on the green candle. I'm not sure I understand your question, Frizu. Okay. So this current candle right now is up against anchor VWAP. But the problem is if I'm looking for a reversal, I'm not seeing the price action required for that move to happen. Right? I'm seeing price action that indicates that it wants to head higher. 930 candle. Okay, so 930 candle must be the 630. Wow, 930 candle. This candle right here. That's where I started my anchor VWAP on this candle right here, which is the open of yesterday. Okay. So if I do my anchor VWAP from the open of yesterday, this is the anchor VWAP that I get. Okay. Now price, as I mentioned, price for now is not respecting this. Price is looking to close above. So if it's looking to close above, then I really can't entertain a short. Okay. As much as I'd like to. Okay. If it starts to break these levels with some conviction, okay, then I have to respect that and entertain a long. All right. Maybe even test the tops of these or test the top on the other side for a continuation move. Okay. All right. But for me, as you already know, I'm not looking at this from an opening range perspective. I'm looking at this from an eventually from an IB range. Again, what I'm seeing is that it's inside value. It's starting to break some of these levels. So I could potentially see a value area acceptance play all the way to the top. Right? That's kind of what I'm seeing. And price action is behaving that way. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I have for the NASDAQ. Hopefully that helps. I got quite a few questions on that one. Obviously, a lot of people interested in the NASDAQ market here. Now, you're welcome. All right. So again, the only other thing that I would kind of consider here is this extension. Okay, and we're already past some of these extensions that I would expect a reversal from. Okay. So yeah, I mean, again, like I said, my view on this is that if it does close above some of these things, then I do see us returning back to the top of value here in the NASDAQ. Okay. I'm not seeing anything indicating, continuation or reversal in of the current price action. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the ES. Okay. And then we'll close the session with the Dow. All right. So we're going to go ahead and remove drawings. We're going to close off any indicators that we have. Okay. Here. All right. ADR levels. Okay. We're going to go ahead and turn this off. I don't know what I was experimenting with there. Okay. Let's see. Daily. All right. Similar kind of thing that we were seeing, right? We're in kind of bearish structure, but it looks like we may have found some places where there are some buyers. Okay. Well, again, looking at this here, right? Again, that's an area where we can see some demand, right? We broke out of the consolidation and now we're right back and reversing away from it. Okay. If you're ever in doubt about, where the other participants are, look to the left. Okay. The left will tell you. Okay. This is telling me that there are market participants that were bullish at this level before, and now they're still there. Okay. All right. 4-hour chart. Okay. So we're still in bearish structure, but we've come into an area of demand. Okay. Similar kind of thing. You could even argue that we're in the midst of developing maybe a little bit of a double bottom here. Okay. Right. We have this bottom and this potential bottom. Okay. Looks like it's trying to develop maybe a little bit of a W pattern here. Okay. On the 4-hour. Okay. Similar kind of thing. Still very much in bearish structure. Okay. We made some highs, but at some point the seller stepped into this market. Okay. So really for me to start to embrace bulls, okay, ideally would be above 53.60. All right. Anywhere inside this area, I feel like I'm still being controlled potentially by sellers. They can step in at any time. All right. That's the 4-hour. Let's look at the 30-minute. 30-minute chart. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stretch this out here a little bit. We're starting to see some indication in the ADX tool that maybe we're getting some buyers stepping into the market. The same is true in our volume delta, right? We got more buying than selling going on, and it's increasing. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's start with volume profile. Okay, volume profile, we're going to go ahead and locate the 930 bar from Wednesday. Okay, here it is. Bam, drag that to the 430 bar. There it is. Okay, we're going to go ahead and extend these lines there and there. Okay, that's our value area high. So almost an exact replica of NASDAQ. Same field. Price closed inside value. We have a follow-up candle that's equally there. If I open up ADR, oops, that's not it. That's BJ levels. ADR. Okay, we're right on top of ADR. We're also right on top of ASR. Okay, so I'm going to turn these off for now. Okay, and then we're going to capture our levels here. So I'm going to copy these and make them available. Okay, all right, right here. So there's our levels for the ES. Okay, so again, similar sentiment, similar view. Okay, so again, we could again draw our anchored VWAP on the high of Wednesday. Okay, where is my anchor VWAP? Right about there. No, what is it trying to do? Okay, boom. Okay, all right, guys. So this almost, I mean, again, this looks almost exactly like what we were talking about in the NASDAQ. Okay, in the NASDAQ, we were starting to see price get above VWAP. Right. Right now, ES is still working its way to that. Kind of remember where we were talking yesterday about correlated markets? Well, ES, if NASDAQ is maybe a little bit further ahead on this, maybe the ES will follow it. Okay. I can compare it. Yeah, absolutely. You can compare ES and NQ. And maybe one will give you a leading kind of indication of what it wants to do, Larry. It's correlated. ES and NQ are very correlated markets. Okay. And that was a topic for discussion. That was a topic for discussion yesterday. Right. And it's also something that I used for the trade that I did in the Dow yesterday. Okay. So yeah. So if you see maybe a further indication on the NASDAQ that it is indeed headed higher, and this is maybe a candle or two behind, then that there's a possibility that can continue, right? That could give you kind of a way to get in without feeling like you're chasing. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. So again, I really don't have much, as far as hypos here, guys, other than the value area acceptance. I would say that normally on normal circumstances, I would say that this area right here could provide us an area for reversal in price. So, again, if we get a close above this anchor VWAP, then again, I have to respect the fact that the bulls are mean business. Okay. If I start to see that it's having trouble closing above the anchor VWAP and I get maybe a 3-bar reversal, then maybe we could start to say that we are going to get a continuation to the downside. Okay. Because that's the swing, right? That's the dominant swing here, right here. Right. But again, if I start to see some breaks, say above 52.83, 52.85, then I have to think that maybe we're going to come back to the top of the market before we make any sort of significant move the other direction. Okay. You're welcome, Frizu. All right. So that's kind of what I have for the ES, guys. Like I said, this is the analysis that I did for NASDAQ, I think also applies, right? The only thing that's different about this is the price. Okay. So again, anchor VWAP for now on the ES is being respected. Okay. It's not closing above it, but we're about, 4 minutes away from the open of the market. Okay. All right. Let's close this session with a review of the Dow. Okay. I've gotten some pretty good trades out of the Dow of late. So, it stands to reason that I should to look at it. Okay. So let's go ahead and turn off some of these things. All right. Okay. So looking at the daily, all right, daily, what is it trying to accomplish? Well, similar to what we were doing, where we were saying in the other markets. If I just look at this, everybody, I'm hoping in this room, it says lower, okay? But we are coming into an area of support or demand, okay? Right now, if we get below, 3,800, 342, then I would say that the bears are very much in control, and this market is going to go lower. We have the 169-day EMA showing that is being respected. Okay, we have a bullish engulfing candle development. Okay, so and we have wicks here, right? So there's still very much a lot of selling pressure in this market, right? But it is coming into an area of demand. 4-hour chart. Okay, same kind of sequence, right? We again, this seems to be a little bit behind what we are seeing on the ES and the Dow. I mean, ES and the Nasdaq. This is a little bit of a double bottom, I guess, is being developed here, right? But again, just like I said on the other markets, I needed to see a break of structure. It needs to get above 39,600 for me to really embrace the longs. Okay, on the 4-hour chart. 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. We see that we are getting a little bit of a double bottom here, right? Double bottom, right? We broke some structure to the upside. We're going to go ahead and open up our let's see, our anchor VWAP. Okay, our anchor VWAP. We're going to pick the high of Wednesday right here. Okay, boom. Okay, this one is even a little bit further behind than the ES, right? Hasn't really quite reached the anchor VWAP. All right. So again, NQ and ES could provide me a sneak peek of what to expect in the Dow. Okay. So if I feel like I'm maybe chasing in either of those other two markets, the Dow might offer me an opportunity that's aligned with the general direction of these other two markets. Okay. All right. I don't have any levels established for this particular instrument. We're going to capture, a small number here. So we're going to go ahead and locate we're going to create the volume profile. So we just had the market open on us here. So Dow has still remained and respected the anchor VWAP. So we have our value area high here, okay, at 39,618. 39,618, and then we have value area low here at 39,057. So we did get a close inside the value area. Okay. For me, it looks like it wants to head higher. Okay. That we could be in the midst of a value area acceptance trade in the Dow and the ES and the Nasdaq. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and call out our ADR levels, and we're going to call out our ASR levels. Okay, ASR is make sure this says New York. Now that the New York session is now open, okay, you see how it adjusted here, right? See these average session range is session based. Okay, session based. It's not daily based. Okay, so these get adjusted as each session opens. Okay. All right. So we have some new levels here, right? So we have some new targets for where price could potentially go in this market. Okay. All right. Let's see. So again, not much different than what I mentioned. Okay. If we do start to accept above the anchor VWAP, okay, then I would say that we have a reasonable target here to point of control, maybe the high of ASR for a bullish trade. Okay, I have a reference level that I can use to manage my risk, and that's value area low. Okay, because if price gets below value area low, that means that the bears have resumed control of this market. Okay, so we're kind of in this area of decision. Is it going to close above anchor VWAP like maybe the other markets have, or is it going to close below? Okay, if it closes below, then I could potentially expect a continuation move to the downside. Okay, these are my reference level. They serve as my guide. Okay, I'm not going to wait for just wicks. I'm going to wait for actual closes. If I'm bearish, I'm going to wait for a close below value. If I'm bullish, I'm going to wait for a close above anchor VWAP minimally, and ideally maybe as high as above ADR. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the Dow, guys. I'm not going to capture the text levels. Hopefully you can capture these levels on your own. Okay. The only ones that I will call out here is that 39.2, is it 39? What is that level? 39.363 is the ASR high. Excuse me. And 38.801 is ASR low. That's probably one that you probably don't have. Okay. So 38.801 ASR low, 39.353 ASR high. Okay. All right. So similar viewpoint. Again, there's a potential for a value area acceptance, but I need to see evidence of that. I need to see a close above the anchor VWAP, and then maybe we have something. Okay. All right, guys. So let's see if there's any questions. We're already kind of 3 minutes past the session here, so I do want to take a peek at my gold to see what the gold's doing. But yes, there appears to be an opportunity brewing, okay, in the Dow to the long side, okay, from my vantage point. But I am going to wait for price to close above anchor VWAP. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, that's it for me. So like we close every session, guys, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Okay. All right, guys. So we do have group coaching today. I will be available in the coach's room. Okay. For a brief time today. I'm not going to be there as long as normal. I do have to step away today. But I will be there for a bit. Okay. De nada, Paula. So yeah, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe and like button, guys, if what I'm sharing with you, and also comment. Okay. Hola, Luisa. Also comment on these recordings. You're welcome, Adriana. Yeah, also comment on these postings that are made in YouTube and Twitter, right? Let me know that I'm, and don't hesitate to comment, right? Let me know if there's some other aspect of the market that you would like me to cover, and also comment on the fact on how well or it helps you in analyzing and digesting the market. All right, guys. Okay, excellent. All right, that's it for me, guys. So we'll go ahead and close the session off. You'll be in the group coaching later today, Larry. Is that right? Okay, excellent. I don't know exactly what the topic's going to be just yet, but it may just be trades. We'll see. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys. Have a good day.